Hey everyone, guess what? Elon Musk called me a dick today on Twitter. He's upset that I had the temerity to demand that he testify before the United States Oversight Committee and explain to the American people why he's blocking payments. Let me be clear. If I have to be the biggest dick in Congress, I will be if it means standing up for the Constitution and the American people.
So Democrats gonna pull up with cameras to the education department and show y'all whole black asses today? That shit was hood as hell. And the sad part, my congresswoman pulled up too. So y'all gonna show y'all ass and disrespect that security guard who was just doing his job. You're gonna question his employment status and tell him you pay his salaries? No, you don't pay his salaries. The American people pay your damn salary. Acting like y'all high and mighty and better than anybody? Let's get this straight. You guys are part of the legislative branch. The Department of Education falls underneath the executive branch. That man did his job. He didn't have to let y'all asses in, and he did not. Shout out to the security guard or the security individual professional. That man got more patience than I could ever have. Cause that raggedy, raisin-faced Maxine Waters talk more shit. I mean, y'all have truly reached rock bottom. Y'all walk up to the education department trying to block the doors and demanding a meeting with the executive branch. You know the proper channels. If you want a meeting with the executive branch, you schedule that with the executive branch. And that's Donald J. Trump. Y'all were out of line. And let's talk about the education department. Have you seen the test scores? Ever since the Department of Education was created in the late 70s, every year our test scores have gone down. And some of the bluest areas have the lowest test scores in the nation. Our kids can't read. And you pulled up with the chairman of the teachers union? Honestly, Trump, shut that shit down.
Yes, New York Attorney General Letitia James and Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg joined a new group of 8 Democrat-fueled Trump plans to punish by revoking any access to classified information and barring their entry to federal facilities. It could hamper them in carrying out their official duties by prohibiting them from entering courthouses, prison, and law enforcement facilities in Foley Square in Lower Manhattan, including. I don't want to proceed to read this. Yesterday, about 18 crazy lawyers stood up with Letitia James, sue Elon Musk, and the Trump administration for fighting for the American people. At a certain point, what I've seen within the space of 48 hours, it is extremely concerning.
In the past week, Elon Musk and his so-called Department of Government Efficiency have accessed the personal private information of tens of millions of Americans and sensitive data about public and private entities, Social Security numbers, addresses, tax returns, and more. This unelected group, led by the world's richest man, is not authorized to have this information, and they explicitly sought this unauthorized access to illegally block payments that millions of Americans rely on, payments for health care, child care, and other essential programs. Today, Democratic attorneys general are taking action to keep Americans' personal data secure, to keep sensitive information about Americans private, and to uphold our Constitution. We have filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration for giving unauthorized individuals access to these immensely sensitive records in violation of the law. President Trump does not have the power to give our private information away to whomever he wants. And he does not have the power to cut federal spending that Congress approved, much less to do so by giving the richest man in the world the keys to all Americans' most sensitive information. As Democratic attorneys general, we are suing to stop this unprecedented and unauthorized attack.
Yes, if you've been following me keenly, I did a video about this. A question surfaced to this secretary And his response actually contradicts what this woman is saying. They are spreading propaganda in such a way that if you are not wise, you will get. Even today, the judge in this location side with Letitia James. Now, if this proceed, the Supreme Court might be involving in this, and Trump will bypass the order they put out, like Elon Musk and all that. The Dutch people are barred from continuing their activities.
Mr. Secretary, we are inside the cash room at the Treasury Department. It is almost impossible to overstate how important the work that is done in this building is to the U.S. financial system. Yet right now, there is widespread concern about the DOJ team's access to sensitive payment systems. Are you worried at all that that access and that tinkering of the payment systems could affect the Treasuries market or cause any disruption?
Good. Well, Saleha, thank you for asking me about that because there's a lot of misinformation out there. First of all, when you say the DOJ team, these are Treasury employees. It is 2 Treasury employees, one of whom I personally interviewed in his final round. There is no tinkering with the system. They are on read-only. They are looking. They can make no changes. It is an operational program to suggest improvement. So we make 1.3 billion payments a year. And this is 2 employees who are working with a group of long-standing employees.
Yes, I believe you heard the Treasury Secretary. What Letitia James is saying there is totally different from what he is saying. You can see the lies they spread. I don't know if they don't realize that people are wise. They know the truth. Trump just barred these people from entering federal buildings. When you take a look at this, Dodge has hit an unnecessary roadblocks. U.S. District Judge Paul expert the order preventing Dodge from accessing critical Treasury Department data showcasing a clear overreach by the judiciary. The decision, influenced by a lawsuit from 19 Democratic-led states, lacks substantial justifications and hinder most effort to streamline government processes for the benefit of all Americans. The temporary block, as reported by multiple news outlets, not only delayed progress but also questioned the balance between judiciary authority and executive functions.
Is funding Sesame Street a judicious use of soft power?
Well, Michael, the way you put it is the way I hope folks considering your poll today will think about it. This isn't just funding a kid show for children, millions of children in countries like Iraq. It's a show that helps teach values, helps teach public health, helps prevent kids from dying from dysentery and disease, and helps push values like collaboration, peacefulness, cooperation in a society where the alternative, the U.S. Department of Defense, has an annual budget of about $850 billion. USAID was spending about $30 billion. It is a small proportion of our total federal spending.
Yes, it baffles me that this Democrat is still struggling to back up the fact that spending this amount of money to build up this in Iraq is justified. It is insane totally. Don't say they spend just a small amount. This small amount is taxpayer dollars, people paying their hard-earned money. Nobody will be happy to see that this is used in places like this. If you use someone's money in the right way, the person will be extremely happy. Everyone is not happy because their money is not used in the right places.
And I'm curious how the vice president would explain to his Indian children why he stood up for somebody who said normalize Indian.
There is so much to cut, but there's a way to do it. For example, I read the Justice Department's Environmental Division. They want to cut. And there's also the EPA's Environmental Justice Office. So the EPA has a Justice Office, and the Justice Department has an Environmental Office. How about everybody just do their own job?
It reminds the top job again in the government, thanks to me. Like, Vance had a chance to defend his own family, And he opted instead to defend the Indian-hating bigot instead. Like, Chris, where are the balls on these Republican men? Trump calls Ted Cruz's wife ugly. Ted Cruz becomes Trump's best friend. Elon wants the Doge kid who hates Indians back, and Vance does his bidding while his...
You can cry more for all I care. I'm going to do a segment about this guy so you can understand fully what happened. Yes, if you see videos after this clip, that is for the algorithm. So please, you can even stop here.
Racism is over.
Other 5-alarm fire, reversal of policy.
The Democratic Party have lied to us about everything.
You know, what's fascinating right now is we're getting a chance to see what happens when you take a business approach to the government.
Are out there pretending to be outraged about the long list of crap that this administration is cutting.
Clarify. Do the Doge engineers have read-only access in these systems? So they are not allowed to write new code? They are not, okay.
No. It's only been 2 weeks, okay?
Earn money and they want their tax dollars to look like it's helping the country.
And also, I got to say...
Don't you agree?
I totally agree.
Essential.
Early on, immediately.
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10.
To her.
The EU does not treat the U.S. fairly on trade and that he has some big complaints. Is that true?
Right? And it doesn't mean that we should sit and pretend that it's suddenly okay, that this new presidency is just going to keep on keeping on. That is not the case. And because, final point for me, a year and a half is because...
This is the United States.
You're talking about a man who didn't become the president of the United States because of merit.
This lady is not unstopped.
Where awful things have happened. So,
and sparks move things. And it doesn't matter how much water you have.
Future president and his gag are
quality and policy.
The city of the Pacific Palisades is burning, and I flew here last night. I was on a plane.
You getting water to areas that need.
He's been trained his whole life to do.
What do we do?
Right now you're looking.
History, remember it.
As a country about James.
Yeah, and then I think all our tax dollars probably went for Gavin's hair gel. I don't know.
From Jordan.
In the 5 tenants of
Palisades Village right here. This is the town center of sorts.
And he did this little dance.
Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii.
And then we watch the news or talk.
Now look, I have a lot of.
So please.
I was being lazy on the couch at like Friday night.
And the Grammy goes to
fans. I makes money and